Hi everybody, this is Andrew Krause here with another lesson to hopefully help you with your production chops. Today I thought I'd talk about using music theory to write a song around a sample. Sampling is so accessible and possible and something that a lot of producers who don't have a background in an instrument or music theory will start with. So I thought this would be pretty helpful. I'm going to pick somewhat of an easy key to start with. Let's open up Logic here. I'm trying these multi angles in OBS to see if this works. Gotta switch out. All right. We should be seeing me in the corner and the DAW. All right. Thanks for pairing with me. Still learning the ins and outs of making tutorial videos. All right. So here's a sample I chose from Cymatic's Savage Trap. I think that's what the pack is called. This is in vocals. I put the project to 140 beats per minute because the sample's 140 beats per minute. I've talked about in some other videos about like chopping a vocal or editing a sample. In this example, I'm literally just going to write around the sample, which is a different sort of challenge. So let's start by taking a listen to what we have here. Cool. So some interesting formats in there. That is like the kind of like the thing that you can tell that's a vocal, but it doesn't quite sound like a vocal. All right, cool. So we are in the key of E minor. So E is in everyone. So as I talk about in the book, linked below, your reference key for anything minor is going to be A minor. That's all the white keys on your piano. If you were to take that from A and just move it to E, it would show the naturals or the notes that aren't the white keys in E minor. E minor, we find the only note that's not a white key is its second scale degree. That will be an F sharp. E minor has a relative major of G major. That means that the key of G major has these same notes, except again, that would start and end on G instead of E. So it's like a different part of the axis of a major key. So let's just listen to E minor. Nice. And then, so skipping scale degrees, we can actually write the chords so you can see that these two are the same and then I'm skipping. All right, if you were to do that, you would get an E minor chord followed by an F sharp diminished chord, a G major, again the relative, an A minor, let's keep going here, a B minor, again coming from that F sharp, so that's a different chord from A minor. All right, and then C major, and then D major, another chord changed, and then we would be back to E minor, another chord changed by that F sharp. All right, cool. So let's just hear. These are all of the diatonic chords. Again, a fancy word for saying the chords from a scale. Let's just listen to this. It's not going to sound incredibly musical. Nice. So one thing that would definitely work, let's chop these up so that we can start just moving them around. One thing that always works is if a sample's in the key of E minor, I could start on this E minor chord and basically loop it. A lot of trap song intros will just start with one chord. It's as simple as this. Pretty cool. All right. So then let's have a chord progression start. So as I mentioned in the book, there's a lot of chord progressions that are used time and time again in music that sound pretty good. One of them that I mentioned, same chord progression from All Along the Watchtower, Dream On, Aerosmith. I mentioned a Kygo tune. Can't remember what the name of the song is off the top of my head. That all use the same chord progression. It's not to mean those songs are all the same. They're actually all in different keys. So A, E, F sharp. However, the way that they move through this key is the same. So what makes it a different song? Well, different words, a different arrangement, the structure of the song, different instruments playing, different actual melodies. So there's a lot of determining factors besides an actual chord progression. So for those of you that know theory, this is going to be a minor 1, major 7, major 6, major 7, or E minor, D major, C major, D major. Sorry, my brain paused for a second. All right, I'll give us 2 times through the progression. That gives us this. Cool. So again, I'm not going to even change these chords, but the definition of a chord is the notes, the voicing of the chord. It's determined by what notes on the bottom. But chords are defined by like the sum of the notes. Where they are would be said to be a difference in voicing. If we have a note other than the main low note from this chord, like if I take the D up here, we would say this chord is inverted. It's still a D major. It's D major in what we'd say is first inversion, because the second note is the first note. I know the terminology first inversion sounds kind of strange. We could do that to add some variation. Let's hear this. Nice. Let's add a B chord to the end of this tune. So that will work. Now it could be kind of fun not to get too crazy. In any minor key, if you go to the 5 chord, if we just use the diatonic chord, that would be a minor chord. That is the natural chord from all the notes from the scale. That is natural minor. A lot of times this 5th chord will actually be raised. Fancy word, we call it the dominant, the 5th sort of note from any major or minor key. It's the dominant. It's very important. The actual minor scale that would give us this chord is called harmonic minor. There's also something called melodic minor, which would also give us that chord. It would just change some other chords as well. Now what this does is it really is going to stand out to our ears as something strange has happened. Let's listen to this. I'll join these chords up so that we can watch them all go without the bar lines. All right. Cool. So some of you might be thinking, oh, well, that sounds kind of lame with that instrument. I would agree. This is the default, most basic keyboard that we have in Logic. Let's show you some other third-party instruments. Here's Isotope Iris 2. Pretty epic. Also sort of a sample engine. But let's just use some presets. Fjord. But that sounds pretty cool. Cool, gives us some interesting phasing. All right, let's add another chord playing instrument. I guess we could get rid of our original keys. intro. That'll be cool. Let's give ourselves something else that sounds great with chords. What about use some east-west, maybe an organ? Let's see here. Let's go to our vintage organs. A B3 rock organ. That could be pretty cool. All right, so for our organ, this gives us an opportunity to talk about voicing. So again, I inverted the second chord. What we can do to really create some interesting sounds is to just double notes. So we're not going to change the chord by doing that. What we are doing is changing the voicing. So for instance, I could put an E up here. I could give us a really low bass E. I could maybe take the F sharp up and then to G. So we have this ascending line. Again, just notes from the chords. Up to an A, and we could continue changing. So we have B, we're just sort of writing a top line in chord. We got that from our, we could jump down to our F sharp again, go all the way up to a C, and on a D. Put it up an octave. So you can have a lot of fun doing that, kind of stumbling across some melodies. All right, let's talk about suspended harmonies. So anytime you're going to go to a note from a chord, what you could do is basically create a sort of layering where you get there late. That's always going to create a cool... Sorry to digress there. Get lost in the music. That's how it should be. All right. So we've already sort of covered writing a chord progression around sort of sample. I've already talked about this in other videos, but I just think it'd be kind of cool if I created a little loop that sounds half decent. So let's do some filtering of our actual vocals. Let's drop some drums in there. I'm just going to use a full drum loop. Oh, we don't have them. Okay, whatever. I'll make a drum pattern. Let's just grab a random kick, grab a snare of some kind. All right, so, oh no, my audio edging isn't going to. it worked. Sometimes my logic has been, for quite some time, doing some weird stuff with copying over audio like that. All right, cool. So kick, snare, snares on beat 3. This is a halftime pattern. We could add some syncopation and maybe even sort of a kick fill at the end or something slightly more exciting. And go back to that. Again, this video is really supposed to be about using theory to write notes to go along with the sample. So I'm just kind of phoning it in for our drums, but that's because, I don't know, don't want to digress too much in that. So I'm just going to grab some, I will listen to these if Logic will let me. Perfect. Trills, and let's have that come in second time. All right, and then finally let's add some filtering on that pluck instrument. We can kind of have it filter throughout. Nice, just adding some of a little bit of a reverb bus, mainly on our snare, vocal, some side instruments. All right, cool. So let's take a listen. Yeah, so it's as easy as that when you know some music theory. Now again, music theory is not a substitute for using our ear. However, a lot of times it allows us to support our ear with other knowledge. So it tells us certain chords to try with our ear, certain drum patterns to try, and then ultimately, the more we understand music theory and beat programming, the more we can essentially imagine a song and write it. So that's kind of been my lifetime goal with music in general, is to be able to streamline everything from my creativity into a piece of music. I'm not there yet. Don't know if it's possible, but I'm gonna keep going. Here we go. Cool. I think it sounds pretty decent. I wanted to add in arpeggio. Talked about that in that dubstep video. Doesn't really matter. Fuzzy whirl game style. Up an octave. Nice. I like it. Cool. So again, I'll link to some of my music below, in case you're curious of listening to me, when I'm being creative and just making songs outside of the context of a tutorial video. I'll link that stuff below. I'll also link to my music theory text. I'll also give you my email. I'm still starting this channel. If you can't tell, I haven't been doing this for too long, not just from my lack of knowledge about OBS and the technology, but my lack of a ton of videos. I'm going to try to keep doing these, but shoot me an email with topic ideas or feedback, how I could do better with this, or maybe any artists out there that want to collaborate. You know how to reach me. Cool. So until next time, I'll sign off. I'll see you guys soon.